Session 10, Network Security. Agenda of the session is network threats, virus protection, local security, network authentication methods, data encryption, and internet security. Network threats. There are two types of attacks: active attacks and passive attacks. The passive attacks, they are eavesdropping on transmissions to obtain information. Release of message contents, outsider learn content of transmission. They are done by traffic analysis, by monitoring frequency and length of the message. Even encrypted nature of communication may be guessed. What kind of communication is happening? Though difficult to detect, can be prevented. Active attacks masquerade, pretending to be different identity than actually who they are. Replay, modifications of messages, denial of service, easy to detect. Detection may lead to deterrent and hard to prevent. Quite simple denial of service attack that will give you an idea that my website can handle, let's say, 50 customers at a time or 50 connections at a time. But you send fake traffic on from fake IDs or fake connections more than 100. So legitimate users will be denied the access, and the fake and illegitimate users will be sending too much of traffic where the real users will be denied the use of the service. So modification of message easy to detect but then hard to prevent. So passive threats, release of message contents, traffic analysis. Active threats, masquerade, replay, modification of message content, and denial of service. Malware, viruses, and worms. They are not same. Malware is a software which has malicious intent that is usually installed without the owner's knowledge. Malware may be disguised to look like benevolent software. Viruses are small programs which causes some unexpected event on a computer and automatically spread to other computers via email, open file shares, or programs installed on the computer. For example, Casa, AOL Instant Messenger, etc. As a matter of fact, first virus was developed by two Pakistani brothers, Samjad and Basit, though their intention was good because they developed one software and they put some extra code, hidden code inside that anybody using this code illegally, that code should fire a notification to that person that this illegal use of software is detected here and you should contact these developers. So they were shocked and surprised when they got a call from United States on their software where it was being used illegally. Worms are self-replicating viruses that are loaded into computer's memory rather than altering files on the machine. A worm's main goal in life is to spread to as many other machines as possible. Virus protection. Computer viruses are small software programs that are designed to spread from one computer to another and to interfere with the computer operation. A virus might corrupt or delete data on your computer. Use your email program to spread itself to other computers. or even erase everything on your hard disk. Viruses can be disguised as attachment of funny images, greeting cards, or audio and video files. Viruses are most easily spread by attachment in email messages or instant messages. That is why it is essential that you never open email attachment unless you know who it is from and you are expecting it. Viruses also spread through downloads on the internet. They can be hidden in illicit software or other files or programs you might download. Virus protection. Install antivirus or malware software. Anti-malware software. Keep the antivirus software up to date always. Run the scan regularly with your antivirus software. Keep your operating system current, secure your network, and think before clicking any pages anywhere. Keep your antivirus program up to date. Update virus definitions weekly or more often if you hear of a new virus. Set virus protection to automatically download virus definition updates if possible. Perform a full virus scan of your hard drives at least monthly if not more often. Install a personal firewall. A personal firewall is a software-based filter between a computer and outside world that is installed on your computer to protect it from unauthorized access by other external users. Personal firewalls are configurable to specify which incoming and outgoing programs or ports or IP addresses can be accessed. Inexpensive routers with built-in firewall. A firmware or a hardware-based firewall is a separate device that physically sits between your computer and the internet connection. This type of firewall is generally more secure than a personal firewall and saves processing time on the computer that the personal firewall would otherwise be using. Router-based firewall can range in price from relatively inexpensive, that is $70 to thousands of dollars. This type of firewall device is highly recommended for home use and can protect many types of connections including dial-up modem, cable modem, DSL, etc. Know what is on your computer, on your system. You should periodically determine what all of your running processes are on your computer and if they are actually valid. You can analyze what processes are on your Windows system by downloading a tool like TCP/View, Fport, Insider, or ActivePorts. On a Unix system, you can analyze running processes by typing the command lsoff. Prevent, identify theft when making online purchases. Look for a padlock at the bottom of web page indicating that the site is secure by encrypting data when submitting sensitive information such as credit card number or social security number. A secure site means that your data is encrypted during transmission. Keep in mind that it says nothing about how secure the data is once it is stored on a remote computer because it talks about the security in transit only. Network authentication methods. In a network environment, the security settings control how users and computers authenticate to the network. Authentication is the first line of defense against attack or intrusion into network systems. Various network authentication methods are strong passwords, Kerberos, extensible authentication protocol, that is EAP, and LDAP. Kerberos. Kerberos is an internet standard authentication protocol that links a username and password to an authority that can certify that user is valid and also verify the user ability to access the resources. This is Kerberos server. So user 1, user 2, like user credentials to access the resources from this machine. This is a resource server. This user is trying to access these resources. So this server will decide whether this user is valid to access these resources or not. So the Kerberos server authentication server authenticate with KAS. So this user once authenticated, this server would know that so and so user is trying to reach out, and it trusts the KAS. I mean, it take the details from the KAS that whether I can trust this user or not. So you can say it is central authentication mechanism. A Kerberos process. A Kerberos client uses a Kerberos authentication process to establish a secure connection with the service. So step 1, credentials. Step 2, he will get a ticket from server. Step number 3, the ticket is verified. And step number 4, session started. Step number 5 is the resource server, wherein it will use the ticket and the session details to interact, which resource center in its own way will verify whether this is the ticket, these are the details, shall I allow this user or not. Requirements for security: strong encryption algorithm. Even if known, should not be able to decrypt or work out key. Even if a number of ciphertexts are available together with plain text of them. Sender and receiver must obtain secret key securely. Once the key is known, all communication using this key is readable. Link encryption. Each communication link equipped at both ends. All traffic secure. High level of security. Requires lot of encryption devices. Messages must be decrypted at each switch to read address, virtual circuit number. Security vulnerable at switches, particularly on public switched network. End-to-end encryption. Encryption done at end of system. Data is encrypted from across network unaltered. Destination share key with the source to decrypt. Host can only encrypt user data, otherwise switching nodes could not read header or route packets. Traffic pattern not secure. Use both link and end to end. Key distribution. The process involves key selected by A and delivered to B. Third party select key and delivered to A and B, or use old key to encrypt and transmit new key from A to B, or use old key to transmit new key from third party to A and B. This is how we can distribute the key. Different methods are used for distribution of the keys. Automatic key distribution. Session keys, permanent keys, key distribution center, front-end processor. There are so many ways. Session keys are used for the duration of one logical connection only. Destroyed at the end of the session, used for user data. Permanent keys used for distribution of keys only. Key distribution center, as the name itself suggests, that determines which systems may communicate. It provides one session key for that connection. Front-end processor perform end-to-end encryption and obtain keys for host. Authentication without encryption. Authentication tag generated and appended to each message. Messages are not encrypted. What are the situations where you can use authentication without encryption? Is useful for message broadcast on multiple destinations. Have one destination region responsible for authentication. One side heavily loaded, encryption adds to workload. Can authenticate random messages. Programs authenticated without encryption can be executed without decoding. Message authentication code. Generate authentication code based on shared key and message. Common key shared between A and B. If only sender and receiver know key and code matches, then receiver assures messages are not altered or messages has not been altered. Receiver assured messages from the alleged sender. If the message has sequence number, receiver assured of proper sequence. Public key encryption based on mathematical algorithms. Asymmetric, it uses two separate keys, private key and public key. Ingredients, plain text, encryption algorithm, public and private keys, ciphertext, and decryption algorithm. Public key encryption operation. One key is made public. It is used for encryption. Other key is kept private. This is used for decryption. We are sitting on server A and server B. Here we create a key pair. Private key is kept here and public key is sent to this machine. So that is public key is transferred. Now whatever text, whatever data we send from server A to B is encrypted with private key, and the public key which is sent on the server B will use public key to decrypt the data. And this process works in reverse direction also. Means any data which is transferring or traveling from B to A, this public key will encrypt the data and the private key will decrypt it. Infeasible to determine decryption key given encryption key and algorithm. Either key can be used for encryption and other for decryption, as I said, because when A to B, A will encrypt using private, B will decrypt using public. When B is sending to A, he will encrypt using public and A will decrypt it using private key. Digital signatures. Senders encrypt messages with their private key. Receiver can decrypt using sender's public key. This authenticates sender who is only one person who has the matching key. Does not give privacy of data. Decrypt key is public. IPv4 and IPv6 security, that is done using IP secure channel, IPsec. That is a secure branch office connectivity over internet, means a tunnel. Secure remote access via over internet, extranet and intranet connectivity. Enhanced electronic commerce security is available possible through IP secure. We deliver it in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure OCI. IPsec scope, authentication headers, encapsulated security payload, key exchange, and the RFC 2401, 2402, 2406, and 2408. Transport mode and tunnel mode. Transport mode, protection for upper layer protocols, extends to payload of IP packet end-to-end between hosts. This is not supported by Oracle Cloud. Oracle Cloud support only tunnel mode. The tunnel mode, protection of IP packets, entire packet treated as a payload for the IP packet. No router examine inner packets, may have different source and destination addresses, may be implemented at firewall. That's what I said. This is introduced and used in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure for encryption tunnel mode. That's all for this session. Thank you very much.